So $250 for a gaming PC, I guess that's possible now. It was possible before, but it's more possible right now. And it's with the GTX 1630, this GPU that doesn't look to be so promising. But anyways, if you like the video, press on that like button and check out the links in the description. That helps me out a ton. We are around 2 days away from the release of the GTX 1630. Someone out there is actually doing benchmarks of it right now. So you are getting a good gaming PC. This is number one. Number two is the PC parts are so well rounded. There's no bottlenecking, surprisingly enough. And most of all, it's pretty easy to build. But the only caveat is that you don't have the great upgrade pass. But if you want a PC for emulation, for light gaming, you want to get into PC gaming without spending a lot of money, you want to play the old games, you want to play the recent games, you know, I'm pretty sure that the brand new technologies like Nvidia DLSS or FSR will give you a bigger boost in the GPU intensive games. So first and foremost, we have one used part and one brand new. The used part is the whole PC itself. So we are looking at Dell or an HP prebuilt gaming PC that's got an i7 4790, 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, 500 gigabyte hard drive. You can add an SSD, of course, and the power supply. These prebuilt PCs, some of them might be a small form factor and some of them might be a tower PCs. So you might wanna be careful with that if you are gonna get a single slot GPU or not, because this will be very crucial. You might have a lot of problems if you bought a GPU with wrong dimensions and you bought something like a small form factor PC, for example. But anyways, the CPU is a quad-core 8-threaded CPU from 2010, 2012, somewhere in that territory. I wouldn't spend over $120 on the PC itself. This is a quad-core 8-threaded CPU. It's kind of comparable to an i3-10100, but the 10100 is, you know, faster and better, of course. Play games like Valorant at 144 FPS, but when it comes to the GPU intensive games, I don't think you are gonna have any type of bottlenecks, even if you decided or we decided to pair the GTX 1630 with a CPU like the 5600X, which seems to be a bit crazy. So yeah, don't worry about that. And you don't have any upgrade path. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, the PC itself will give you a good experience, but the best experience, the most optimal experience you will have once you add an SSD, and that's why we are looking at a 240 gigabyte SSD. You can kind of glue stick it somewhere, or you can have a caddy for it that I will link down in the description. So there's that for the whole prebuilt PC. I wouldn't recommend you to go with anything over the next GPUs that I'm gonna mention. The first one is the GTX 1630. This GPU will launch somewhere in 2 days. The only reason I'm recommending it, even if it's bad, because if it's bad, actually it's okay, because it will not go anywhere over a GTX 1050 Ti in performance. So if it's that bad, you know, so it's pretty compatible with our CPU and there is no bottleneck whatsoever, and this PC is pretty well balanced for $250. And one of the most crucial things in this PC that is pretty easy to build, you can actually tuck in the GPU, removing the case, you know, cover, and tuck in the GPU. You don't have to add, you know, any 6-pin connectors or something like that, and you're good to go. And if it's not for $120, if it's for cheaper than that, I guess this would be a great deal. If it's for $100, this PC will be even cheaper, you know. And if you couldn't wait, you couldn't find this GPU, you can go with the RX 6400, but I wouldn't recommend it because the 6400 is a pretty powerful GPU when you compare it to the 1630 from the benchmarks or from the specs, actually. But hey, there's that too. And there's also the GTX 1050 Ti, but that's a used GPU, but this will be allegedly the same performance of the GTX 1630, but even faster. So hey, I'll leave that to you. You have 3 options to pick between. Just ultimately make sure this is a single slot GPU, or make sure you're getting a mid-tower PC, not a small form factor PC. So all the links will be down in the description. Yeah, that's been it. If you like the video, press on that like button and subscribe. See you in the next one, and peace.